Okay, we're just gonna try to get on. Oh, it is live. Okay. So today we're showing block 1 of the Flower Farm Sampler. Okay. So we're getting ready to start our live here on YouTube, and also I'm gonna go live on TikTok. So let me I want to make sure everything is set to go, that we're all ready to go. So I'm just gonna fix this. I want to make sure you can see everything, that everything is clear and easy to see. Let me move this back a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to try to answer questions as they come up. This is a little bit, I think it'll be okay. All right, we're getting ready to start our sew along together. I'm very excited. This is our first one, and we're going to be sewing with the Flower Farm Sampler. So you do need a copy of the book in order to follow along, because it's not my pattern, so I can't give you any instructions on the cutting. All right, we're going to start right at 6 o'clock. So hopefully those that were able to do the, got a chair on the way here. There are kids in the house, so just be mindful of that. We're going to see how it goes. Okay. Hey, how's it going, Missy? So we're going to be, Jose, not in the house. We are going to be sewing, again, the Flower Farm Sampler. So you do have to have a copy of the book. We're gonna, if you haven't picked one up, go grab one from your local quilt shop or wherever you can purchase this book. That's what I did. Okay. And you can grab your copy and then get sewing. So I have cut all of the pieces for the first block, which is what we're going to sew today. We're going to start right at 6 o'clock. All right. And I don't, if you ask to come live, I'm not going to let you in because we're teaching a class and no one has asked to collaborate with that. So we're not going to be inviting anyone on the live. I hope it's going to work out well. Again, I'm on YouTube and I'm on TikTok. So if you're on TikTok and you miss anything, it will be in the live on our YouTube channel, Quilts for Survivors. You can check it out there because it'll save there. And I think it'll work really well. And it looks like the camera for YouTube is a little better than the camera for, I don't know what happened now. What did I do? I lost my screen and I have trouble getting it back. Just want it back. Where did it go? No. Okay, just a second. I lost my YouTube screen here. Give me 1 second. I did say we were going to start at 6, but not if I can't find my screen. Where did it go? It went really small and I can't see anything. Oh gosh. I am not the smartest person when it comes to technology. I don't know. I don't know why it's being So difficult. Just a second here. Oh, there, it's coming back up. Okay, it's just being difficult for me. Okay. I think we're back in business. Okay. I want to make sure that everyone has a good view of what we're doing. Encourage more viewers to share. So share, like and share, and encourage people to follow along. And we're going to get started here. So leave my mouse right there. I'm not going to touch anything because I don't want anything to disappear. All right. So my name is Vanessa Genier. I am the founder and CEO of Quilts for Survivors. This is my first ever class teaching live on YouTube and live on TikTok. I've never done this before, so I'm really excited that many of you have joined in. We are going to work our way through every week. We're going to do a different block, unless I say ahead of time, like June 18th, there's no class because I will be in Toronto at Quilt Canada. So we're going to go through this pattern right here, the Flower Farm Sampler. You can pick up your purchase your book at any local quilt shop or on anywhere you can purchase a book. That's where you can find it. And I had to go online and purchase it because my local quilt shop didn't have it available. So go grab that. It's an easy, clear book to follow. It's by Shelley Cavanna. I have no affiliation with anyone associated with this book or this pattern. That being said, I have no rights to the pattern, so I can't share any of the cutting instructions. So you do need the book if you want to make these blocks. And we're just going to get started. And I'm just going to sew at my regular speed. And I'm going to walk us through it. I'm going to just go through the instructions again. There's no cutting instructions. Everything is already cut out. And if you have if you're joining in this sew along, okay, then I hope that you have pre-cut your fabrics for block 1. It does make 2, and it does say that the cutting instructions gives you 2. So what it says to do is we're going to make 1 block at a time, and then at the end it says repeat to make a second block. So in the quilt, you're going to have 2 blocks similar. So if you want to make both blocks the same, then you just follow those cutting instructions. And if you want to make them different, then you make half in one color and half in another color. And that's completely at your discretion. I simply cut all of mine to be the exact same. And this yields a 24 and a half inch unfinished block. All right, so let's get started. So I'm using Tula Pink Roar fabric line, and I'm also using some of her solids. Not all of these solids are from Tula Pink, but that's where most of them have come from, and some of them are just from my stash. Okay. All right, so let's get started. And again, I just want to say I'm not affiliated with anything to do with the pattern. I'm not affiliated with anything with the fabric. I'm just letting you know what I'm using. I'll let you know what tools I'm using. And I have no affiliation with anybody. This is my home studio. These are the stuff that I sew with every day. And I'm just inviting you to come along with me on this journey, and we're going to sew this quilt together, 1 block at a time. So it does say it makes 2. We're only going to make 1 together on your own to make your second block. All right. So what we're going to do first is we're going to grab these are our blocks. So here are all my pieces. So I have some blues, some prints, some bluish purples. I have another printed fabric here, and then I have some background, which is white. And I have it all marked with my alphabetties ready to get started. So we're going to make 1 block together, and then you'll be on your own, I'll be on my own to make another block. I was hoping to get one of the blocks made before class. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that, but I'm hoping in future classes that I'll be able to have a block ready so we know what we're looking to make, and then we can go from there. All right, so let's get started. So first we're going to grab I, J, and D. So I is a rectangle, so let's grab those. And we're gonna, how many do we have? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The cutting instructions might be for one block. I might have misspoke, but we'll see. We'll see how we go along because it does say to make 8 of these, and that. Oh no, that makes. Nope, I think it's going to make both. I think it's going to make both at the same time. So let's just follow the instructions and we'll see what happens at the end. Okay. I think we're going to make all the blocks at the same time, which is really cool. So let's do that. All right. So we're going to take I, which is a rectangle piece. I, J. We need 8 of those as well. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I counted out 8 J's. And then we also need D, 8 of those. So let's find our D fabric. I don't know if this is exactly 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. Okay, so those are the pieces that we need. So we have, let's move this book out of the way. We have our I, which is a rectangle. We have our J and our D fabrics. And we're going to lay them out just like this. Rectangle on the top, our white background square, whatever color is your background. And that would be your fabric 21. You're going to have, that's on the left side. And then your fabric 6, which in my case is this blue color. No, is that fabric 6? No, sorry, fabric 1. So this is fabric 1. Fabric 1 and fabric 21, according to your fabric guide at the front of the book. So first what we're going to do is we're going to sew these two together. So you're just going to put right sides together. With solids, it can be a little hard to tell which is the right side and the wrong side. So if you can't tell, it doesn't matter. Cleaners were here today and my petals all moved around. Okay. So we're going to make little 2 patches. We're going to just sew those together. So you're going to sew all 8 of them. And I think what will happen is we will have everything done for both blocks. Right. So 1/4 of an inch. I'm using my 1/4 inch foot and my diagonal keychain. And I like to chain these. So I'm just going to keep feeding it through the machine so that I don't have to cut my threads. It just makes it easier, goes by a little quicker, saves a little thread. So again, we're sewing together D and J. And they're squares and they're the same size. And all the measurements are in the pattern in the book called Flower Farm Sampling. This is block 1 and it's called Water Lily. These are going to be so much fun to make because they're beautiful, beautiful flower blocks. I love a good flower block. So I'm really excited. So welcome everyone. I hope you have all of your pieces cut and you have your pattern in front of you. I'm not going to try to sew really fast, but I am going to cut. I'm going to try not to sew super fast, but I am going to try to sew at my regular speed a little bit, maybe 90% of my regular speed, so a little slower. So I do use leaders and enders. That could be a bonus block. It could be just a scrap. So just keep that in mind that some of these, I'll try to let you know when it's a bonus block, just so that you're not like, what is she sewing now? All right. So I put the bonus block in so I can cut without cutting my thread or lifting my needle. And then I'm going to, hi Laura, and then I'm going to have all of my pieces. So all 8 of my pieces are here, are trimmed apart. If you find it hard to watch on TikTok, I am live on YouTube and vice versa. So here are my pieces. So we're going to stitch those together, okay? All right, so let's go take those over to the mat here. I just have a wool mat here. I don't have anything under it. My table has turned a little yellow from the heat, but that doesn't bother me. Does it say? Yeah, it says to press towards the J fabric. So press towards your J. In this case, in my case, we're not pressing to the dark side. We're just pressing to to the J. That's what the instructions say. And in my experience, they've already thought of how to get everything to nest. So that's always great. So if you have any questions, ask them away. And you will need the book in order to sew along. So I set all my seams and now I'm just pressing them to the background fabric, to the J. Just getting them nice and flat. All right. I'm going to try to see if I can see people's comments. So if I miss something, just let me know, okay? So now we have our two pieces together, our J and our D fabric. Your colors might be different, but that's okay. Now we're going to take our other background fabric. This is a rectangle, and we're going to sew this to the top. So we're going to place right sides together, and again, 1/4 of an inch all the way down the side. And we're going to do 1/4 of an inch. Sorry, my foot is just being very difficult today. It was in the perfect spot before the floors were done. So we're going to do this 8 times for every piece. And when we're done, this should measure 6.5. So we're just putting these together. These are our corner units of our flower. I am going to, once I'm done my pieces, I'm going to square them up. And then I'm going to, oops, that seam is, I'm able to catch it. So I got it going the right way. Watching that the seam goes the right way. I am going to stick up the pieces behind me on the, if you noticed, I cleaned off my design wall behind me. And I will put up the pieces behind me so that we can see how far we've come and what we've done. But this is the first part. And we'll see how long it takes. I didn't realize, I had read through the instructions, but I didn't realize that it was making both blocks at the same time. So this will be fun. I'm really excited to make this and having a great time. I'm so glad some of you are sewing along. And if you're not, it's not too late. You can go grab a copy of the book and join us next Wednesday. Maybe sew block 2. And again, some of these you make 2, some you make 3, and then there's some of the smaller ones where you make more. It's a very easy pattern to follow. I've never made it, but I made another one by her. We're just sewing along. So one more to do, and we want to make sure that it's 6.5 inches, okay? So we're going to press up towards the eye, up towards the rectangle. So again, a bonus block, just so I don't have to cut my threads. You do not have to use leaders and enders. That's a personal choice. I started doing this a few years ago, and I really like it. I don't get these super long threads, and I get these beautiful chains of things that I've created, and I love it. One time I did this, and it was super long. It was the whole length of the house and then some. So I had sewn so many together. It was pretty cool. All right. So again, I'm going to snip these apart. Now you might have to use scissors or snips to snip yours if you don't have one of these handy gadgets. Again, nothing that I'm using I get a commission for. I'm just doing this because I love to sew and I love to chat with you guys and I love to share my love of quilting. And if it helps you on your journey of creativity, then that's a bonus. I really wanted to make it and other people said they did too and they joined in. So there you go. I was looking for a block to sew together and this is great. And I'm excited. And everything that I'm using, again, this is my personal sewing space at my home. And my kids are here and the dog and the cats. And I'm just excited to be here with you. I have no idea how long it's going to take us to make this block, but I'm going to stay on until I'm done my blocks. All right. And there's no cost to you to join in other than, you've got to get some fabric and get the book. You can just hang out with us for a bit while we make these. So now we have 8 of these pieces made, and they are the corners of our overall block. So this is what we've done so far. These are the corners. Now this block is going to be really big, so I don't even know if that's far enough. But we'll do that for now. I think if I stick them up, I don't think it's gonna fit. I'm gonna move this basket out of the way. Hopefully cats don't see it and think, oh, it's fun to play in that. Right. You move the chair out of the way. I also am doing this to give you a bit of time in case I sew fast. I have been told in classes that I teach that I sew very fast and people have a hard time keeping up. But this is just who I am and what I do. I'm going to move that out of the way. Okay, I figured it was easier to do it behind me because then I don't have to move the cameras around and all of that. So I do this live, so I don't have to edit anything. And because I don't have a film crew, I don't have anyone to do that with me. And as my staff are busy enough. The studio staff, the Quilts for Survivors staff are busy enough, they don't need to do this. All right, so our next step, so that's the first step. Those are our corner blocks. That's done. We are doing really well. So we're on a roll. I hope everyone had success with your corner blocks. Someone says hello, so hi, welcome. Again, if you're just joining, this is the pattern that we're following. You have to have your own pattern. I'm just showing you how I'm sewing it together, following the instructions in the book. You do have to get your own book. It's not my pattern, so I can't share all that, but I can show you what I'm working on. Okay, so we're going to now take J. So we need 8 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 8 J's, so those are squares. And then we need 8 E's. E's are over here. I think that's 8 there. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. So you just want to pay careful attention to your line. So we're going to draw a line from corner to corner. These are stitch and flip corners. So you can use diagonal seam tape, which is what I normally do. And I'll show you what to do if you don't have diagonal seam tape. I highly recommend it. Okay, I'm going to move these over. And so what I'm going to do is take my J block and I'm going to draw a line from corner to corner. Okay? And we're going to sew right on this drawn line. These are a little big, so it might be hard to just eyeball it. And for accuracy, we want that line. So there's my drawn line. And then following your book, because you have the book, the pattern, you're going to see the orientation. And you're going to stick that up in the corner, making sure that your diagonal line is going from the top left to the bottom right. That's what you want to do, and you want to do that on all 8 of them. Okay, and you're going to stitch right on that line. Then we're going to trim a 1/4 inch away, and then we're going to press it. Okay, so again, we're using piece E and piece J. And of course, if you're sewing along, you have the pattern already. Now, I find personally that starting in this upper corner, sometimes it'll get stuck under my feed dogs. So I start down here where it just seems to have a little bit better, it just starts better for me. So I'm going to sew it. It is a little weird, but it works. You're going to stitch right on that line. Okay. Now, if you have the diagonal seam tape, you can also take it and just I'm going to use the line on my diagonal seam, so we can just follow that through. And then I don't have to draw it. Now this one here, I'm going to lose the little guy's head, so I think I'm going to put him upside down and put it like this and make this, and hopefully, because I don't want to cut off his cute little head. So you can, I don't even care if he's upside down in the pattern. I just don't want to lose his cute little head. Might be trickier with directional fabric, but I try not to think too much about that. Because, sometimes you look at the quilt from, this way, or you're sitting with it on your lap and it's pointed a different way. To me, that doesn't matter too much. Okay. So again, sewing it. You want that line going from the upper left to the lower right, that diagonal line. And for future classes, it's okay to go through I highly suggest that you go through the pattern and you see if there's any prepping that you need to do. Because you could always draw all your lines. You could start sewing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. You do what's best for you. And we're going to just have fun sewing together. I hope everyone's having a great time. So again, we're making 8 of these. And they're all made the exact same way. So 4 for each block. Is how it's working out. Now this one again, he has a bit of a head. I'm just going to sew him upside down. I don't want to lose. I wasn't fussy cutting them, but I don't want to lose his head if I don't have to. I'll lose a little bit of its face with the seam allowance, but that's okay. So again, bonus block. You do not have to sew these bonus blocks. You could just put your threads right now. I'm choosing to sew a bonus block. But that's just how I sew. So there's my other bonus block. Toss that over there in my ever overflowing bin. So we have all 8 pieces sewn together, and the diagonal line is going the same way on all 8 of them. So let's cut them apart. I think getting one of these is one of the best things that I really find that they help, especially if you're a chain piecer like I am. You can also get the ones where you stick the little rotary blade in. They all work great because you can put an older rotary blade in it because it's usually sharp enough to cut through the thread. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to use this smaller mat just so that you can see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to grab a ruler. I'm just using this little one because it's easier. And then this is what my bonus blocks are, just cutoffs of things like the stitch and flip corners is what the book calls them, stitch and flip. So you're going to put what I'm doing is using my 1/4 inch and I'm putting it on the stitch line, cutting those pieces off. You do not have to keep these. That's definitely personal choice. You don't need them for this quilt, but you could do something with them should you choose. There are other ways to do this. You could have sewn them right away. We could have stitched 1/2 inch away from this stitch line, and then these would, when we cut them off, they'd already be stitched together. I don't do that because I like to use them as leaders and enders, and sometimes I get a little overwhelmed with doing that, and it can be a little frustrating for me. I've done it, but I find it's easier, especially when teaching class, because not everyone keeps them. It's just easier for my brain. But using them as leaders and enders has really helped. So then I just put them here on my in my throat space. I have a large throat space and I'm able to stick them. If I didn't have such a large throat space, I'd probably just put them beside and have them ready to use. So now we're going to check our pattern. So I want to make sure that I press it the way it's suggested. So it's to press to the dark, because I want them to nest. So if I press these according to the pattern, when I make another unit, then they should nest, and that's what I want. So I'm pressing to the dark. So we're gonna just open it up and press it nice and smooth. So I do like to set my seams. You might see other people do that as well. It really just relaxes those threads, and then they're gonna want to behave. They know what's going on. They know that the rules are coming. I don't know if that's what I want to say, but they know. And then these should not change in size. All we did was change the one corner of the block, but we shouldn't have changed the size of the rectangle. So it should still be that same size, which I think is size is this rectangle. 3.5 by 6.5. So it still should be that size. So again, just pressing it, making it, and if it's easier to just press it from the back, then do that. I don't press my seams open, but that's always an option. I personally don't do that, hardly ever. Sometimes they open on their own and I just go with that, okay? So there's that. Now, I have a ruler. Again, you do not need to have all of these rulers that I have. I have been quilting for 36 years and I just got into collecting rulers. So this is exactly the size that I need. So I'm just going to place it on top and they all look really good. I really have been, I think the diagonal seam tape and the 1/4 inch foot have really helped me improve on my accuracy with my blocks. And that has really helped me out. And just, sewing on, learning how I sew and adjusting so that I can get my blocks to be the size that they're supposed to be according to whatever pattern I'm using. And that has really helped me improve. I knew that I wasn't doing a very good 1/4 inch seam when my blocks were always finishing too small. And I was questioning it and questioning it. And then I adjusted things and I was able to get that nice 1/4 inch seam. Now it's not always perfect, but it's way more accurate than what it's been in the past. Okay, so we're just gonna set these aside. I'm not even gonna add them to the design wall. We're just gonna set them aside. So we're just gonna leave those right there. So that's the one piece that we've made already. And I have put it, this is the right way. Just in case you're wondering, it's facing you the right way. To me, it's upside down. I'm just gonna stick that back with this. And then I have all my little cutoffs from my stitch and flip corners. And I realize it's a little bright right there, but I can't do anything about that. It's the light from the sewing machine itself. Okay. So next step, was step 2. We're going to step 3. We are going to make a square in a square. There are instructions in the book for how to make all of these blocks. Thank you for the likes. I really, really appreciate that. We are going to now make a square in a square. So we're going to take our A's. We're going to make 8 of these units. Oops, I just knocked off that small. So that's a B. So I move that like that. Put that back. Okay, so we're going to take our square in a square. You should have 8 of them. 8 square in a square, okay? And we're not changing the size of the square. We are simply embellishing the corners. And we're doing the stitch and flip method. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our A. We're going to take some J's. We actually need double J's. We need 16 of them. So 1, 2, 3. Actually, I think it's all that's left. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we need 16 of those. Okay, so we move those back. And then we also need G. And I think there's just 16 G. Let me see what the pattern is. Yes, there's just 16 of the G. And G is fabric 6. And the A is fabric 1. And the J is our background fabric, which is in this case fabric 21. But they have multiple background fabrics. but this is fabric 6. So whatever your fabric 6 is, that's the G. So what we're going to do is we're going to put two backgrounds or a fabric 21 at the top, and we're going to put 2 fabric 6s, our G's, at the bottom. So we can sew. Thank you, Missy. We are going to sew alternating corners. Now you can draw your lines, you can press the line, you can eyeball it. I'm going to again use my diagonal seam tape, but let's just do the lines for those of us that need them. So again, you're going to draw corner to corner, and you're going to stitch on this line. Okay, this is the stitch and flip corner. Okay, so there's one, and then on the fabric 6, no, is this fabric 6? Yes, fabric 6. Again, we're going to just draw a line from corner to corner. And you're going to do this on all of them. I'm going to use my diagonal seam tape again. So I'm just showing you one with the line. If you can't, I'm just using a mechanical pencil. Use whatever works so that you can see it on your fabric, okay? If your fabric's really dark, you might need to get like a white one. So you're going to stick it here, and to know going in the right direction with your line, you're going to be sewing from the middle of a side to the middle of a side. Okay, if you're sewing into the corner or into the center, you're sewing it the wrong way, adjust. Sew from side to side. All right, and it doesn't matter which corner you picked first. It doesn't matter if you do your J or your G first, and none of that matters. These are a little big, so they're moving all of my little things. I'm just going to take them and move them out of the way. All right, so then let's grab another one. I'm going to actually sew all of these, the white in the corner first. And again, it doesn't matter. You just have to kind of pick the top of your block, and that will be your square in a square. And I'm trying to see. These actually become the petals of our flower. So this is really exciting. Okay, so let's do that again. Again, right sides together and stitching right on that drawn line. The stitch and flip method. If you miss any of the instructions, the stitch and flip, square and a square, the instructions are on page 11 of the book. And you can check back there. I have done, as I'm sure many of you have, done lots of stitch and flip corners. I know we're busy sewing, so there might not be any comments, but that's okay. You just keep doing what you're doing, and I'll try to remember to look up for comments. All right, so we're going to stitch down, corner to corner, every single one of these. I don't think, how many A's did I cut? Oh, I cut 10. Okay, I better slow down then. I got to take 2 out. So take 2 A's out, because there's 10 of them, because we need them for the center of our flower as well. So just make sure you're only doing 8. I'm glad I caught that. I missed that. Alrighty, we're going to do one more. So 8. We only need to do 8 of these. Okay. So again, stitching down using my diagonal seam tape, which we know I love. And then I'm going to do a bonus block, not a requirement, just something that I do. Go. Just looking. Oh, that my snakes are like way over there. Okay. Josie, put the dog out to pee. All right, we're going to take our big, huge clothesline here. We're going to come over to the iron, and we're going to snip these apart. Now, we're not going to iron or anything. It's just easier just to come away and snip these apart. Okay, then I'm going to stack them up with all of the corners in the same area. Jose, put the dog out, please. Put her out. I don't want her to have an accident again. So now I have this upper left corner complete. So now I'm going to move down before I trim and cut. Thank you for all of the likes. Before I trim and cut these, I'm going to stick a G in this corner, okay? And just remember, you could draw your line, you can use your diagonal seam tape or whatever works for you. And you're going to place it so that your line is going from the center of the side to the other center of the side, okay? That's how that's going to work. So then we're going to sew down on our drawn line or from corner to corner diagonal, okay? So let's keep going. So if you're just tuning in, we are sewing the first block, the water lily block from the Flower Farm Sampler book by Shelley Cavanna. I'm not giving any cutting instructions. You do need to purchase the book. I have no affiliations, so purchasing the book or not does nothing for me. Just so that you're aware. So stitching on the line from corner to corner. This is stitch and flip, square in a square method. So our square should change size. It just gets beautified in the corners. So we're going to do that, okay? So looking really good. I'm just lining it up, making sure that it's nice and straight here and nice and straight here. So that it sews on really nice. And stitching from corner to corner. And if you need the instructions, if my instructions are unclear in any way, they are on page 11. It says, I got a comment on TikTok. I should have picked matching fabric and not use up random yardage. That's okay. They're not, they're very simplistic blocks, so you can always change it going forward. When I made this, and I used random pieces, I used in my Barnstar sampler, I just made each block however I wanted. I just made sure that I had a fabric 6 and that they were all the same fabrics, or that fabric 1 was all the same fabrics, and that they all kind of work together. So don't worry. You can always just make more if you don't really like them. These blocks are huge. They're 24.5. They could make a beautiful tabletop. They would make a beautiful a large table runner if you stuck them together. So there's lots of options out there. And don't feel bad. People made this fabric for us to use. Maybe they didn't intend for them to be used together, but that's okay. There's no right or wrong. Look out in nature. It's all beautiful. And I'm sure whatever you do with it, and if you put it in your quilt, it'll be a fun memory. So don't be too hard on yourself. We're looking like a hot mess over here. It's okay. You didn't see me this afternoon when I was doing the block baking at the Quilts for Survivors studio, and I went to Ken and I said, this block is like a mess. And I had to actually sew a strip of a color because my one hourglass block did not turn out very well at all. It was a mess. And I just sewed a strip and cut it. And I go, how does this one look? He goes, nice. I said, can you see the mistake? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, well, you know what? It's okay. We're humans. And it's a great little laugh. So now that block will eventually go into a quilt and make its way to a survivor. And hopefully they're not offended and they get a good chuckle out of that little list of mine. So this is a warning to whoever gets this top in the next year or two, that there's a little it is. And it was big. And it was unintentional, but purposely just added kind of sloppily. It still looks okay, but you can tell that I stuck it in there. All right, so we've all done it. We've all been there. So again, bonus block. again, I say that because if you're sewing along, I don't want you to think that I've done something and you missed a step. So I'm going to try to remember to always say bonus block. So now, cut away that bonus block. These are just, if you want to know what it looks like, so these are the cutoffs, and they just look like this. And I'm going to trim them to the biggest size that I can get them. This is probably 2 inches. And I can get this, I'm thinking, I think 2.5, oh, maybe 2.5. Yeah, maybe 2.5. And I'll use them at some point to do some. I think I'm going to make a ton of pinwheels and just sew all those together, and that'll be really fun. What was I watching? And that's what she did. Oh, I think it was the quilted forest. And that's what she did. And she just set them aside. So instead of having a pile of, I don't know if you can see them, a pile of half square triangles, she had all kinds of different pinwheel blocks. And you can use any size and then use sashing or borders or something to make it work. All right. So those are all trimmed now. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, I don't know if you can see me if I come over here. You can kind of see. It's just that my mat is so small. I should have brought a bigger mat from the studio. But anyways, I'm just going to sit here and kind of, or if I sat, if I kind of do it over here, then you can kind of see it a little better. So now I'm going to do what we did with our other stitch and flip corners, is I'm going to put my 1/4-inch line on my ruler. So these Creative Grid rulers have a really defined 1/4-inch. I don't know, other rulers sometimes do as well, where it's really easy to see it. So I line it up and then I just cut it off. And it gives me a perfect 1/4-inch seam because the seam is already sewn. And then if I cut it, I get a perfect, if I line it up right, I'm going to get a perfect 1/4-inch seam, which is every quilter's dream, right? And I'm going to do that to both sides. Then we're going to press it, and then we're going to do the other 2 corners. So I'm going to give you the pressing instructions, although you could look at your book. They're all going out, away from that center square. So if you're liking this sew along and you haven't picked up a copy of the pattern, I encourage you to do so, because you're going to need it. And it's such a beautiful quilt, and you can do scrappy, you can do random, you can, make each block individually, which is what I did with the Barn Star sampler. And this one, I am using a collection with some solids mixed in. But I didn't take any other prints from any other line. I just took solids from other lines and maybe some of her other blenders and stuff like that. But all from the same designer. Sometimes that helps because they know what they know that their fabrics go together. And if you hear a little bell, it's little Bunny walking around. Where she went? But she has a little collar on and has a little bell on it. Oh, she's just a little Pomeranian if you haven't seen her. She's a little over 2 pounds now, probably 2.5 pounds. Gotten a little bigger. She's super, super cute. All right, so these are all my bonus blocks right here, the whole pile of them. I'll just leave them over here because I don't want too many on my table in front of me, because knowing me, I'll probably hit them out of the way. A lot, no. And open. What does it say? And oops, a creative change. There you go. Creative change, that's right. Nothing's ever a mistake. And if you say, so when I was in the judging room last year for Quilt Canada, and one of the things that they said was, and someone had put this in their thing, that they had intentionally done whatever it was. And the lady goes, she said it was her creative flair or something like that. Can't remember exactly how the quilter had worded it, or the group of quilters. I don't remember if it was one person or a group or something. I don't remember. I think it was one person. I think most of the quilts at Quilt Canada are one person. Anyways, she said that this, whatever it was a creative choice. And one of the judges said that she was really glad that she said that because she goes, otherwise, she would have assumed it was a mistake. But because it was her own creativity, her own thought put into that, that they couldn't judge it as an error or a mistake. Now, it might not have been the creative thing that they would have done. They didn't say anything like that, but I wasn't allowed to talk to them, but I could listen to them. It was really cool. I don't remember what quilt it was, what category it was, but I just remember one of the judges saying, because they had put it in as an intentional thing, they couldn't really judge it because when you're throwing some creative flair in there. So I'm going to remember that if I ever submit a quilt to be judged. Say it's a creative flair. Definitely, definitely. All right. So now what we have to do is you have to decide if this is the top, okay, if this is the top of my block or if this is the top of my block, because that would determine if I'm going to put my white here or if I'm going to put it over here. Creative. Yep. So just a creative choice. All right. Now, I don't know if you can tell from the camera, but my block is a little bit uneven, but I'll square it up at the end to the size it originally was. So I'm going to put all of my whites in my upper left corner, and then I'm going to sew all of my whites down on this upper right corner. That's what I'm going to do. And we're just going to do this. So I'm going to sew it on again. Remember, we have our lines drawn. If you're drawing the lines, I'm using the diagonal seam tape, and you're going to sew from corner to corner. Oops. I'm going to just back up a little bit because my corner did not stay down. Okay, so I'm going to lift up my foot here. I'm going to realign my piece because it didn't sew. And then I'm going to press it down. Make sure, there we go. I thought it was going to bunch up, but it did not. All right. I should have mentioned, make sure you have a nice full bobbin when you start, but sometimes you just have to change it in between. My machine has a bobbin reminder, so it lets me know I'm getting near the end of my bobbin, which I don't know if I could sew without it. Well, actually, I was sewing on my featherweight, and it was okay. I just had to be mindful because I'm new to my featherweight. We're new to each other, and I just don't know how much I can sew without having to change the bobbin. So I think I actually did sew with air for a while with that one. But that's my traveling sewing machine, so that I can still sew and have fun. All right. So we're going to keep going, making this square and a square. So the top of the square and a square is the background, is your fabric 21, whatever that is. Mine is just a plain boring white. And then, well, I don't know if it's boring, but it's just plain. There's nothing on it. It's not a nothing. It's just a white. And then the bottom is the lower part is your number 6 fabric. And we're only making 8 of these. There are 10 A squares, so just remember to only make 8 of these. So if you accidentally ran out of pieces, you would have realized that you had too many pieces, I guess. You will now. Hello? Hello? I heard the door. I don't know what the little guys are up to, but they're usually pretty good. And they know I'm up here having a class with all of you. And they're usually pretty good. And all of their friends kind of go into the house at the same time. So that helps too. Hello? I don't know why they went out the front door, but anyway. So I'm just going to go and take my clothesline here, my chain pieces, and I'm simply going to cut them apart because I find it a little hard to sew that extra piece on with them all attached. I find it easier just to take them apart. I'm not going to trim or press yet. Bonus block. And we're going to do this again. So now we don't have to decide what corner we're going to use. We're just going to put a G in the corner that's left. So again, sewing from middle side to middle side. So that we're sewing the right way. Lining everything up as best as we can. We're looking for as accurate as we can get. We're not looking for perfection. We're looking for, as accurate as we can get. And practice makes progress. And practice gets you to the point where it becomes very natural. I've made lots of these stitch and flip corners in all different kinds of patterns, all different kinds of fabrics. And the more you do it, the more precise it becomes, the easier it becomes. So if you're late to the game and you get your book later on, this will be on our YouTube channel and you can grab it there. I've got a couple more to do. Again, we're making a square and a square by doing the stitch and flip method. This is the traditional method. I think maybe this is not the traditional method. Maybe the traditional method was cutting triangles. But this is a modern take on the traditional method. You could also use foundation paper piecing. I think that would take longer than this. I find that I can get pretty good, pretty accurate square and a square if I take my time and make sure my blocks are lined up and then just stitch as straight as I can from one corner to the other. And I think that's the key, is to try to get a really nice, accurate, straight line. I think that's what really helps. Okay, so we're sewing block 1, Water Lily of the Flower Farm Sampler. From the Flower Farm Sampler quilt. You can pick one up at your local quilt shop or wherever you buy your team books. Again, that's a bonus block. I am not affiliated with anyone. I am the founder and CEO of Quilts for Survivors, and I'm making this quilt and sharing it with you because I love this pattern. And I'm very excited to make this. Stick that on there. Okay. So let's bring it over to the cutting table again, because we're going to cut off those corners. And you can keep those cutoffs or you can throw them away. You can do whatever you want with them. They're yours. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my ruler, I'm lining it up on the stitch line, my 1/4 inch mark on my ruler. I'm lining it up on the stitch line, and then I'm just cutting them. I could use scissors. Definitely could use scissors. I do not cut accurately with scissors. I'm getting better. I'm definitely making progress. But when they're longer and I know I want to keep that cut off piece for something, I'm going to use my order cutter. When I lack the skill, I find a tool that helps me do it better. Work smarter, not harder, right? Because if my stitch line is if my seam is more than a 1/4 inch, then it's too bulky. And if it's less than a 1/4 inch, it doesn't lay flat. So I find doing it this way works for me. You do what's best for you. I know there's lots of people out there who will use their scissors, and I have good scissors. It's just I'm not the most straight cutter with scissors. It's getting better. All right. So having a lot of fun doing this, getting it trimmed up here and ready. And I'm going to make, I think, little pinwheel blocks. love my half square triangle and make a pinwheel quilt. I've never done that before. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. And I think all of these get pressed outwards. I'm trying to think. I think all of the fabrics that I have are appropriate for a Quilts for Survivors block quilt. So just like other things like quilts of valor, we have restrictions. We have some specifics on fabrics. Okay, I gotta go move my puzzle piece over here on TikTok. But remember, this is on. We're live on TikTok and live on YouTube. So join where you're comfortable watching. It doesn't matter to me where you watch from. I'm just so glad that you're here. You're sticking around. I hope your blocks are turning out great. I hope that you will share them. You can message me with your beautiful blocks. You can send them to me by text. The studio's phone number is on our website, quiltsforsurvivors.ca. Or you can message them here. You can, I don't know if you can post a picture in the comments. I don't know how, I don't know. But I'd love to see them. You can share them on Instagram if you want. Tag me in them or tag Quilts for Survivors in them. I don't think this quilt will be going to a survivor, but it may be hung in our studio space. So now what we want to do is we want to make sure that that's not the right square. Where did I put it? I think it's a bit. I'm gonna grab a ruler. I'm just gonna walk over here. Sorry. I'm gonna grab a ruler that's 6.5. Any ruler will work. Any square ruler or rectangular ruler will work to square up your blocks to 6.5. It just has to be bigger than 6.5. It's a little harder when they're smaller than 6.5. So we're just going to place it on. I like to use the square if I have it because it makes it easier for me to square up my blocks. Good. Not perfect, but good. That one's okay. There was one that I thought I'd have to trim. This one needs a little bit of trimming. And I find if I take the time to square up my blocks, I get more accurate blocks, more accurate quilt top. Okay. Oh wait, let me rotate it. Oh, I bet the little girl from down the street came over and that way they went outside. That's what they're doing. Two of the kids that my kids play with are two of the families. They have trampolines. We don't have one. We just don't have a big enough yard. And I don't want to sacrifice my whole yard that's not deck or sandbox space for a trampoline. We have really big trees in our yard, so some older trees. We live on an older neighborhood, in an older neighborhood of the city. I think our house was built in the 1920s, so it's over 100 years old. So it's older. I love our house though. I really like it. On the main floor, we've got the high ceilings, and the big crown molding. It's modernized because we did do some renovations. Okay, so now we're not going to do anything with these yet because we do have to make a unit where there's 3 sets of different blocks. One of them being this block here, and then the second being this block. So this color and this color and this color, they're kind of different, but I think they work. I think it's going to work. Now, in my past experience with making I'm going to talk a little bit so that if you're not where I am, you have a bit of time to catch up. With my Barnstar sampler, I did find that there were some blocks that I loved, absolutely loved the combination of fabrics that I chose, and some I liked a little less. So there was, not all of them were like, yay, that's the best combination ever. Some of them I'm like, oh, I should have put that there, or I could have done something else. But overall, you not every block can be the star of the show because then they all just kind of blend in and it doesn't give your eyes anywhere to rest. So I think we're going to be okay. All righty. So this was step 3. But remember, we are making both blocks at the same time, which I wasn't sure was the case when I read through it, but now I see that it is. All right, so now we need to make the other side. Now remember, this is facing you, it's upside down to me. We're going to make the other side of this, okay? So we're going to take the remaining E rectangles, I almost said squares, E rectangles, and we're going to take what's left of the J. I think it's all the J's. I don't think they go anywhere else. I might have cut extra J's. I feel like I cut too many, but we are going to make 8 of these, 8 units, okay? And we're going to do the opposite of this, the opposite of these ones here. So the opposite of what we did here, we're going to do the opposite because we want it to go on this side. So what we're going to do is last time, yes, for what? What water? Who has a sprinkler? Sure, but you might want to bring a towel. Towel? Well, yeah, it might be cold when you're done. So the only bathing suit you have that is washed is the one hanging up in the porch. Okay. So you don't have to wear that one. Okay, and grab a towel. And wear your Crocs, because if you wear other shoes, you'll get them wet. Okay. Are you getting wet on the trampoline? Yeah. Oh, then that should work. Okay. I'm sorry. I do still have to be a mom. I feel like I have enough J's for 10 blocks. So many of them. That's okay. Keep them. Because I am sure a lot of times, yeah, I feel like there's a lot of them. I feel like I have extra, but maybe I just cut a bunch. But anyways, that's okay if we have extra. This is a background color. You could use it in a future block this size. This is a pretty standard size, I think. So I think we could use them. So just if you have extra, just put them aside. And if you have a specific fabric 21, just put them aside. And if you need them again, you can use them or you can cut them smaller. You can't make them bigger, but you could definitely use them. Or I guess they get added to your scrapping. But I think we'll be okay. So again, we have our E fabrics and our J fabrics, and we're now going to stitch from the upper right to the lower left, to the middle left, okay? So we're going to sew the opposite way of these ones. So you're going to let's draw our line. Again, I'm going to use my diagonal seam tape, but I always draw one line just to show that we can see it. And I know you can look in the book, but it's okay. I'll show you anyways. All right, so we're going to stick this up and I'm going to check to make sure. And then again, we're going to stitch from the upper right to the lower left. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to come a little closer. Hopefully you can, the lighting in here is so bad, but I hope you can see it. Because we want it to go, if we sew on that line, we're going to press it up like this. And you can see here that it is the opposite. There's this one, there's that one. It's the opposite, okay? So let's stitch that. So it's the sewing from the lower left to the upper right. And I'm going to start where it's in the middle because I find it gets stuck less in my bead dogs. All right, so we're going to stitch this together. So here we go. Right on the line. Right on the line. There's some really pretty fabrics here. They're really pretty. And then another thing that helps me is the chain piecing because I can see, how did I lay that block out? Okay, so I need to lay this one out like that. So that I sew everything the same way. Because if I start out right and I continue that way, I will keep everything together clearly. Nice, and I'll be as accurate as I can, precise as I can. I'm loving it. Joe? Oh, okay, she was really fast getting out the door. Ooh, this guy. Look at that little guy down there. He's down in the right spot. So I don't have to worry about putting him down there. He's already down there. So he won't lose his head. Nope. Even with the cord. Nope, he'll be fine. He'll stand out. So I am using Roar by Tula Pink. So it is dinosaur fabric, like Roar fabric. And I'm really excited about that. I have you heard her, Miss Jose. She loves dinosaurs. So I think this is going to be a big hit. Dinosaurs and flowers, I think, are a great hit. And I think it'll just add some fun to this quilt. Alrighty, so sewing J's, background J's, fabric 21, onto our fabric E's, our rectangle E, which is fabric 2. Oops, I must have got the wrong one. So of course our fabrics aren't going to look the same because unless you have the exact same fabric as me, which you don't need to do. You're going to use what you have, what you like. I do have extra J's. I don't know where they're supposed to go. I guess I just cut too many. Now this guy, I don't want to sew his head off again, so I'm going to just flip it and put it on. And I'll just, when I put them around, I'll make sure that maybe he'll be at the top or something, or at the bottom. Maybe at the bottom, and then he'll be standing straight up. I'll make it work. And one more. So again, it's sewing from that left up into the right corner. And just lining my block up on however many sides I can. In this case, I can line it up on all 3 sides, so that's what I'm going to do. Alrighty. Okay, so we're done that. I'm going to bonus block again. I say bonus block so that you know that you don't have to sew this. These are my little stitch and flip corners. I'm going to get some more here now. I'm just going to keep doing that. And one day I'm going to square up that huge pile that I have. Okay. So now what we're going to do, the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to cut all of these apart. Me and my love of chain piecing. I think that was one of my favorite things to have learned. I don't remember how I learned it. I think it was during COVID, where I was like, oh, look, check that out. And I really liked it. Now, we got to watch our pressing because we want everything to nest. So I'm assuming we press the other ones to the dark. These are pressed to the background. No, these are pressed to the dark as well. Oh, that's fine. We're going to trim these and press to the dark. Oh, it's because these ones are pressed out. Because these ones are pressed to the white, the ones on either side need to be pressed towards the dark. But let's trim these first. Bring over my little mat here. Probably should leave it. Oh, I probably should listen now. All right, so let's trim these off. So trimming. Oops. I'm getting quite a pile of these. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to grab a little design board here and I'm going to throw them on there. Maybe I could make some blocks and stick them on the back. I didn't buy any back for this quilt yet. So there's an option. I don't know if I want to do that, but it's definitely an option, right? We can do whatever we want. So we've been at it for a little over an hour sewing this block. We are doing really good, I think. Really good. I'm not going to take a break because I'd like to be done 7:30, 8 o'clock. Because I have to get Waltz and Joe ready for bed. It's not shower night, so they were at swimming yesterday. I was so proud of them. Oh my gosh, they're doing so good. And neither of them are scared of the water. They are trying everything that the teacher, from what I can see, I can't hear, but from what I can see, they're doing everything the teacher asks them to do. And they were floating yesterday, something that they've always been a little nervous to do, just lay on their back and float. And they were like a star. They both did it. I was so proud of them. And they're putting their faces in the water, something that was hard for them to do before. And I was a proud mom. Watching the kids learn to swim is a lot of fun. So again, our stitch and flip corners should not change the size of our rectangle or our square, or whatever you're putting it on. So now we have this piece here, and then these go here. So you can see they kind of make a V, I guess. I don't know what else to call it, half a diamond or something like that. So that means that we've got them going the right way. In the past, I've done these and I've made them wrong. And I have had to rip many of them out. So always, if you're in doubt, I didn't do this prior, check. You can press before you trim to make sure it's the right way. I should have said that earlier and I apologize. But make sure. I'm loving this. This is bringing me very much joy. Much joy. I'm very happy with my progress so far. We'll see how all my colors work together. I did not use a color wheel. I simply used what worked for me. And I changed one of my fabrics. I changed because the original one I had picked, I think it was for fabric 6. The original one I had picked, I didn't like with the other colors because I had picked it without knowing where it was going to go. And I changed it out for this more purpley blue. I just thought that blended in a little better. So you can always make changes if you don't like the way something looks. But remember, it's create a flare. All right, so now we have our little 3 sets. Those are our sides. So they will go in between these corner blocks. So they're going to have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then again 1, 2, 3, 4. So those are going to finish the perimeter of our very, very large block. And I don't think those are far enough apart, but that's okay. Okay, so our next step is to sew this together. Okay, so I have extra J blocks, no idea why. So I'm going to move everything out of the way. I'm going to bring all of this over to me. And we're going to start sewing. So I'm going to sew this, the left side first, and we're going to take these together. Now we press them in opposite directions. So these were pressed up, and these were pressed down. So they should nest really nicely. And we're going to sew down all the way down the side from corner to corner, 1/4 of an inch. And where these 2 pieces cross, you want to be on the right side of that so that you don't lose your point. And I will do a smaller seam if I think I'm going to risk losing my point. Okay, my piece did not line up together. Let's try this again. For some reason, that was giving me a hard time. Okay. Oh, there we go. Right. So I always sew with my needle down. I don't know if you can tell that from the camera, but I always sew so that my needle, when I stop sewing, my needle is in the down position. And that kind of works like a little tack or an extra set of an extra finger to hold everything in place. So that if I need to do, there goes my bobbin. If I need to do something, it'll stay in place. Or if I need to, whatever I need to do. So the beeping is my bobbin minder telling me, but I have a few thread left, and I hate to waste good thread. I don't see any questions coming through. So if I missed your question, I apologize. You can always message me. But we are sewing the Flower Farm sampler. We are getting there. We are getting there. This might seem like a lot of pieces, but remember, we're making 2 blocks at the same time. So I don't think I'm going to make my blocks ahead of time. We're going to be sewing them all the same. I'll have to read through and see. I think I can do 1 or 2 more before I actually run out of bobbin. I really like to squeeze as much of the thread as I can. I didn't square my side pieces. I left them as they were because they looked pretty good to me. Oh, hi, Bunny. Oh, she just licked my toe. Hi. Hi, little girl. Hey. Hi. Hi. Hi, hi. Hello. So she has a bell on her collar. She's so small that I can't find a collar that fits her, other than a cat collar, and I couldn't get the bell off the collar. Probably will go try a different pet store and see. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually cut my threads, and I'm going to change my bob. I always wind about 7, about 7, 6 or 7 bobbins at a time. With my color that I use all the time, my neutral color. I use 2309 or 06. I have the numbers on there. 2309, I think. It's the color that I use all the time. And I make about, like I said, 7 or 6 or 7 of them. And oops. When I'm done, when they're all empty, then I make more bobbins. I clean my machine and I change my needle. And that's how I keep track of all of them. And I haven't, knock on wood, in a very long time broken a needle. All right. So I've just sewn my bonus block because I ran out of bobbin and I changed it up. So if you're just joining, because I noticed there's some of you live, this is what we're sewing. We're sewing the Farm Flower Sampler. You do have to get a copy of the book. Again, not affiliated with anyone. I'm just making it because I love her patterns and I love this pattern. And I find them really easy to make. It was something I wanted to do. And other people had said, hey, I'd like to join in too. So that's what we're doing. So I'm using a Tula Pink fabric. Some of her solids as well. Not all of these solids are hers. Some of them are other solids. I have no idea who they are. I do know that the white is from Northcott, and I really like this white. It seems to work well and it doesn't fray, or it hasn't been fraying. It's really actually very good. So I do like that. So I might invest in more Northcott solids. And it's Canadian. So for me, it's a little less expensive because I'm Canadian and my dollar goes all the way. Don't have to worry about the exchange rate or duties and things like that. So I appreciate that I can get that here. Hi, do you want to come say hi? Come here, lady. There. So this is Bunny. This is our little Pomeranian. And the kids decided to call her Bunny. And she's super sweet. So she's 3 months old. And they said she'll be fully grown by the time she's 6 to 8 months old. And she's doing good so far. We still need to house train her. We're working on that. I don't. It's going. We're getting there. Hey, Bunny. Yeah, we just have to. It's like potty training. It's more the parent than the child, right? Hey, so she's super sweet, and we really like her. She's a lot of fun. She's mischievous and crazy, but we love her. All right, looks like I have one more to do, and then I have all 8 of them done. So we're gonna just line it up. Now, when this set of 3 is finished, I'm gonna invest in a new chair. I just haven't found one that I really like. That's the price that I want to pay. All right, so I'm gonna sew it down now. I have all of them sewn together. I'm gonna wait and press everything at the same time. I'm not gonna press in between, and then trimming it up, it should be 12.5 by 6.5. I have that ruler too, so I could just grab it. Okay, stop licking my toes. I'm trying to sew. I don't wear shoes when I sew. Oh, I sewed a bonus block. I don't wear shoes when I sew, or socks, or sandals, or slippers, or anything. Something stuck to you, little one. Oh, yes, you do. You had a sticker. Somebody's sticker. Yeah, no good now. All right, I'm going to cut them apart, but I am not going to press anything. Not right yet. Let's get that out of the way. I don't want to burn myself. So my bonus blocks are going to go, oops, over there. Okay, I'm not going to press anything. I will just press it all later. I think I'm going to have to bring it to the larger iron, which I have plugged in. It probably dozed off on me. Oh, she wants me to rub her belly. Okay, so I'm just going to finger press, and it says to press out, away from the center square, the center block. Okay, get out of here. I do not want to rub your belly. I mean, I do, but not right now. So we're going to take our other piece. So this is what I have so far. I guess I should show you. And then I'm going to take the other piece and I'm going to sew it to the other side. The truth of all of my color choices will come to completion when this is done. And if you press according to the pattern, we will have nice seams to match up. Everything nests really, really nicely. I like that. And I like that we don't have, that it's not recommended to press open. I don't like to press open. This is very exciting. I think it's going to look great. What's this? Yeah, I think it's going to look really good. I'm really, really excited. So I did change any pieces. I didn't put in a different color somewhere else. If it said use fabric 1, then I cut all my pieces with that same fabric 1. So all of my fabric 1s are the same color, and so on for the other fabrics in the pattern. The only thing that I did was my original fabric 6. I didn't really like it after I had started putting my pieces together, so I just changed that. But I cut everything for fabric 6 in that color. I think she's trying to bite my toe. Hey, bunny, go away. All right. This is going great. And you don't have to rush. If you're not at the where I am at, that's okay. I have been told I sew rather fast, but you also have to keep in mind that I sew every day or almost every day, pretty much every day. Not too many days I don't cut fabric or sew or do something. Wallace! Oh, he's home. I think he's still home. Well, Bunny, Mama is trying to sew it. Okay. So I stop sewing so that I can adjust my fabric. And when I do that, my needle is in the down position. So my fabric can't move from where it is, so I don't miss any stitches or anything. And that's another reason why I like to sew with my needle in the down position. Stop with it in the down. So when I'm using my needle, I can set it to stop in the down position, or I can use my foot can lift and lower my needle. If I push it right, it's unusual. It's a very neat little thing. Sometimes I confuse, but I really like that feature. I just think it's kind of cool. Wallace, what are you up to? Yes? No. No, you cannot. I thought you were playing in a sprinkler. Are you done now? What are you doing now? In your bathing suit? Okie dokie. Where's Wallace? Okay. Just wear your shorts because your bathing suit's in the laundry. Just get your shorts wet. Just grab a towel from the bathroom. What? Just get your clothes wet. Not a big deal. Just grab a towel. Okay. And just leave Bunny at home. Okay, so I'm going to cut these and then we're going to go over to the larger iron. And we're going to. Okay, thank you. You have to come home at 8 o'clock. Okay. or before, it's fine too. All right, so let's, I put my slippers on just because I don't like the stand. I had plantar fasciitis a couple of years ago. Oh my gosh, is that ever painful? So now I'm just like, I don't want to get it, so I don't always stand barefoot. Sorry about the light, but I'm going to just shift you over so you can see. So definitely a better view on the YouTube channel than on this one, because this camera here follows my face. But anyways, I didn't check the pressing. Oh no, we press out. Yes, okay, so I have my piece. So this is what we've created. I should show you that first. That's what we've created. So I'm gonna fold it like this, press both, set my seams, and then press it out. Okay. And I did, what was I gonna say? I did spray this with a non-starch flattening spray, all of the fabric before I cut it. I sprayed it all. Well, is that hot? Not really. It's warm. My iron had fallen asleep. Oh no, it's warming up. Okay. It's not hot yet, but it's getting. I have a little thing. All right. So a bonus block, I'm just going to throw it there for now. So then these are supposed to be, what did I say, 12? 12.5 by 6.5. She has really good illustrations in here as well. I'm a very visual person. If someone tells me it's 10 feet by 15 feet, I'm going, that doesn't mean anything to me. It really doesn't. All right, so press it and roll it back. That's looking amazing. I love it. I think it's pretty. So far, I feel really confident about my color choices. I am not in any means the color expert, and that's often why you'll see that I use a collection or a designer's fabric. I will use because it just makes, I feel like my choices are better if I do that. Now, funny thing happens here. I have one upside down and one right side up. If I had have thought about it, I would have moved them so that because now if I put it at the top or the bottom, someone's going to be upside down. But I think it looks really great having those. I think they're raptors in there, but my daughter would know. Joe and Wallace would know for sure. Joe for sure. All right. So setting all those seams, having them nest was really great. Everything is lining up really well. I am very, very pleased with how my blocks are turning out. Oops. I have no, other than that one giving me a little hard time, I'm not having any issues with any of this. So I'm really pumped. And I'm going to now square them up to the size that's recommended in the book. All right. So look at how awesome those look. And there's one of our little bonums, one of our little friends in there. Whoops. Again, I'm using Tula Pink Roar. And of course, here I am saying, I'm going to cut. I have all this fabric. So this, actually, I could show you this. Let me turn it. If I hold this, this will listen to me. I'm going to turn off the turning. Did it turn off? No. Hang on. I'm going to turn off the turning on this camera so that I'm in control. So this is all the fabric that I'm going to be using for this particular quilt. There's my numbered fabrics, my background, some other options for solids, should I need other options for solids, because I want to make sure that I'm doing what's best for the blog, according to my limited knowledge. So you're seeing all angles of my sewing room, but that's okay. It's fairly clean and there's nothing too scary. All right. I thought I heard someone, but everything's okay. So now we're going to make sure. So this is my cutting table. I do have a small mat or a mat beside my sewing station, but this is my actual cutting table. And I just want to make sure that is accurate. So a little bit off there and a little bit off there. Not too bad. Not too bad. I'll toss them in the garbage. So that one's done. So again, you're going to square these up. It's okay if they're a little bit short. Sometimes there's nothing to cut off, right? It's too short or it's just a little under. You'll know. You can mark it with a pin if you feel like, oh, that's really going to be tight. I haven't really found any issues with anything. So again, just lining it up and making sure that everything is nice. Oh, I should close that. Nice and accurate. So doing the best that I can. So this table is a nice height because it's counter height. It's actually a bar table. Like a bar height table. It's a square table. It works great. My mat fits on it well. I have a place for my rulers and my tools. And a little thing for some storage. None of those things interfere with my mat. I think it's 40 inches, 40 by 40 square. Alrighty. So depending on, so sometimes to save my point, I will trim off the bottom instead of the top. You know, I'll trim off the opposite side so that I don't have to lose my point. Oh, I thought if I shook it, the thread would come off. No such. All right, so let's do this again. Lining it up again. This is a 6.5 by 12.5 inch ruler. You do not need all of these rulers. I have them because I've been collecting them over the couple of years. Some of them were in my Sew Sampler box. A lot of the smaller ones were, and then some of the larger ones, it was like, if you want to buy me a Christmas gift, I would like this ruler, and then send them the link to where they could buy it. Make it really easy for them, for the kids, you know, because now they're older. Some of them are older. And be very specific. Or, you know, if I have a little bit of money left in my fabric budget, instead of buying fabric, which doesn't always happen, sometimes I'll buy a notion or something. Okay, so these are all done. Don't they look amazing? Let's go add them to our other units. And I hope this, if you get dizzy, just don't look for a second. I might spin it a little too fast. I'm going to turn that one back on. Yes, back on. Okay, so let's lift up the arms so I can push the chair out of it. Okay, so let's add these units to our block. So they're going to go now. There's nothing else beside them, right? No. Maybe I did put them close enough. So it looks great. I am in love already. This guy is upside down. So I'm going to stick him there. He looks like he's peeking out the side. These look so great. This guy is, I think there might be a better one for the top part. I might have to move that flower now just because it's only flowers. It's not any of the wrappers. And if I have heads in them, I'd like them to go the right way. This one has a head. Oh, he's a bottom guy. Okay. So you don't have, depending on your fabric, you don't have to worry about the direction that they're going if you don't have any directional fabric. And I'm trying to make sure that anyone who has a head, his head's going. I'm going to put this guy's head here. And then this guy also has a head. But he'll be upside down, which is fine. Okay. This looks so great. I hope yours are looking just as wonderful as these. Now we can see how big they really are because that's the whole perimeter of our block. Now we have to make the center. The center. I hope you guys are turning out just as wonderful. I'm sure they are. If you're a little bit behind, don't stress. I don't know if I'm going to get it done by 8:00. Let's just keep going. Okay, so what we need to make next is some half square triangles. And we're on step 6. Use 4 pairs of C and F. Okay, C and F. 4 pairs. I think there's only 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only 4 Fs. And there must be only 4 Cs. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to make a mirror image of the unit in step. No, that is not the right instructions. I'm just going to check her. I'm pretty sure I remember how she makes her triangles. Yep. Okay. She makes them the way that most I've made other times. So you're going to pick one of your fabrics. You're going to draw a line from corner to corner, your diagonal line. If you're using diagonal seam tape, you don't have to draw it. Or if you have a Seam So Easy guide or something that can help you with your lines. So take them. I would just recommend that you draw on the lighter fabric, the fabric that you can see on the best, the clearest. Draw your line on the wrong side of that fabric because it really, in the long scheme of things, it doesn't matter which one you pick. And you're going to take your C and your F and you're going to put them right sides together. And you're going to stitch a 1/4 inch away from that stitch line, that seam line. Okay, I could draw it for you. I think it'd be easier to see on this color. So you're going to draw a line on whichever piece of fabric is lighter. That's my suggestion. Okay, so draw a line. So there's your line, and now you're going to stitch a 1/4 inch away on both sides of that line. So you're going to get 2 stitch lines. There's not going to be any bonus blocks coming out of these guys. So I'm going to stitch down one side, again, using my diagonal seam tape. I'm lining it up on the black line on the left side, and I'm going to stitch down all the way down. If my blocks are a little bigger, then I do draw the line because I want to make sure that I'm really accurate. I'm giving myself the best chance of success. And it doesn't matter which block is on top. Well, for me, it doesn't matter. If you had to draw the lines, then yes, it does. So again, draw the line corner to corner on the wrong side of the lightest fabric and stitch down 1/4 inch away. I was trying to call you. Oh, girl, I was trying to call you. Thanks, Kat. I'm up here. I'm almost done. I have to make some half square triangles, some flying geese, a square and a square, and then sew that together, and then add it to the center of these, sew those together, and then done. So you can either come visit, or you can call me in about, I don't know, whenever I'm not here. So now we're going to stitch down on the other side of that drawn line, or the pressed line, or the whatever, however you want to do. And I haven't cut it. It's all chain piece together. It's very successful for me to work. So you can go check on Walls and Joe. They're at Ed's playing us there. You're still on there, sweetheart. So Kat, or who's on there, is one of my brats. One of my wonderful, helpful brats. Okay. Bonus block coming through. Just a reminder that the bonus blocks just mean that you don't have to sew them. Okay? I was like, she's probably on hot. So true. So true. I am. Because it's Wednesday. So Wednesdays, if I'm home and available, I will be sewing live with this pattern, the Flower Farm Sampler. All right, so now we're going to go over to the iron here. Oh, I think that's a little bit different. Push that back a little. Oh, that went really far, but it's on little wheels. So I did invest. If some of you have been watching me for a while, I kept saying I should get a tripod. I really need to get a tripod because when I put it on the table, the cats jump on it and then it shakes like crazy and it's so annoying. So I did get a nice tripod and there's nowhere for anyone to jump on. So I'm pretty pleased with that. It has little wheels on it, which is even better than the one we have at the studio. It's not as sturdy though as the one at the studio. So now you have your lines on both sides of that, or your stitch lines on the both sides of that drawn line. And now you have that line there, so you can just cut on that line. If you don't have the line, just cut in between. And we're going to square these. We're going to trim these or square 2. I don't remember what it said. 3.5. All right. And if you missed any of it, or feel like you're a little bit behind, it's also on YouTube and on TikTok. So that's where I am. So Wednesdays, come to one of those places and you'll find me. So I'm going to use the Clearly Perfect Slow Burn Trimmer A, and I'm going to trim these up because that's the half size ones. So putting my stitch line on their stitch line and trimming them up so that they're nice and accurate. I invested in these a few years back because they are a little bit expensive. Maybe they're even more now. Everything's going up, but I did invest in them because I was making a quilt that needed like 800 half square triangle. And that quilt's made, it's finished, it's quilted, it's bound, it's been used, it's downstairs, in the living room. You can use it if you need to cuddle. It looks really pretty. No one has offered to steal it. Take it home with them. There's a couple of quilts that I have that people are like, I'd like that. I follow a couple of different designers on different social media sites, and Hula Pink was showing us her new studio space above her garage. Very, very nice, lovely layout, some great ideas. And she has these large racks. I don't know what else to call them, but they're for her quilts. And I can't wait to see how she puts her quilts on them, because I'm thinking in our studio space, we have some walls that are really high. Maybe something like that would be good. I mean, you wouldn't be able to access it all the time. Like, you wouldn't be able to take them down and cuddle with them exactly, but it'd be a fun way to display them. Because I have a quilting rack and it's full. When I bought it, I think I had 2 quilts to put on, and now the thing is full. I've been keeping more of my quilts. I used to not have a quilt, and now I have like 10, 15 that are not for anyone specific. They're just ones that I want to keep. So we're squaring up our half square triangles to 3.5. And we're making both blocks at the same time. All right, and I was hoping to have a block made, but it wouldn't really have helped, because then I would be sewing only half of what you would be sewing. So I won't do that. I won't make it ahead of time. Hello? Wallace and Joe. Nobody's listening to me. Oh, it was Shem who said I was probably live. You know me well. Wednesdays are our day to do this. I won't be doing this any other time, just at this time. Okay, so now these are going to get pressed towards your F fabric. So whatever fabric is F for you. Fabric F is the purpley color. And this, you want to do what they say. Actually, shove it this way, because you want everything to nest. Hello? Hello? Wallace and Jose, what are you doing? I know that, but what are you doing? Wallace, what are you doing? Are you done in the sprinkler? Can you come here, please? And I love you too, by the way. Come here, please. Don't come over to where I am, because I am doing a live, but come here for a second, please. You? Yeah. Okay. Are you done in the water? Where? Well, that iron's on. Where? At Emily's. They only had the sprinkler on. Okay, but are you done? Now we're here, doing it here. You turn on our sprinkler. No. We don't have a hose hooked up yet. The pink hose isn't hooked up yet. No, so now what are you doing? No, it's time to say goodnight to Emily, to come in and put on your pajamas, and to go have a bedtime snack. So go do that. It's almost 8 o'clock, so just go do that. And then what? We'll deal with that after. Let's do all those other steps first. Okay, so let's put back our ruler just to. That's fine. Okay, let's put that away. Put our tools away. So we have some beautiful half square triangles with our C and our F fabric. They look great. These are for the center. I know it's getting kind of late. If you're done and you're done sewing and you don't want to continue, remember it's on YouTube. It will record. It'll stay there. Unfortunately, I won't be editing it. I don't know if that's unfortunate. So don't get everything, but you can fast forward and pause and do whatever you need to do. So now we need to take H and B. H. Ooh, H. This is my H. I love this print. I love it. I think it's great. So that's my H. And then my B. No. Oh, and we also need H's. So we need 8 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of those. And we're gonna make a square and a square with these. So I'm gonna set that aside. Okay. I think I've used all my fabric. Okay, perfect. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna make flying geese units. We're gonna make 8 of them. 7. Set 2 at a time, half square triangles. No, we did that already. Yeah, make flying geese, repeat, make 8 units. I don't think we need our H's for these right now. Okay, so we're gonna make 2 flying geese units. So you're gonna draw a line on the wrong side of your fabric H if you want. And then you're gonna sew from corner to corner on that line, right on the line, and we're gonna make flying geese. Right on the line. Just gonna put that piece in the way. Let's do another one. I'll stitch from the center down to the corner because I don't want that. Looks like it needs a press. I don't like it getting stuck. I don't know if I'm putting them all the same way or not. Oh, I am. Okay. I will just continue. I have a little bit of a direction that I have it. So I'm just going to lay them all out the same way. Not that it really matters, but I'm going to do that. Okay. Stitching corner to corner of my triangle, my square here, H. These are going to make our star legs for our center of our flower. So our water lily block 1, will have a nice little star center, which I think is absolutely great. And actually, Kat asked me today, what is your favorite block? And I said, I love a good star block. Can't go wrong with a good star block. I was hoping to be done. I think when we get into the smaller blocks, it won't take as long because they're smaller. Or maybe it'll take just as long. I don't know. Because sometimes this long, it's not because, these pieces are bigger, so they're a little easier. So, what are you little guys doing? Almost. It's time for snack. Once you put your jammies on, you can have cereal, yogurt, or toast. You'd have to get toast bread out of the freezer. Forgot to tell them. Oh, they were so pumped tonight because I made them grilled cheese for supper, and they were pumped. I had chicken burgers, but they didn't want them. I made them grilled cheese, and they were so happy. And Joe was so excited to have a dill pickle. I thought that was so funny. So there's my half of my flying geese units. So we do have to trim and press these units. So we're going to cut them apart. I'm hoping that these little conversations that I have with the kids give you time to, so that you don't feel rushed. You'll have to let me know how it's going. I know Laura has had classes with me before, so she's used to how I work. I do offer a class through Quilts for Survivors on Zoom, and you're welcome. There's more information on that. And I got to quilt that quilt, the next year's quilt, so people can see it. I was going to do it today, but I just wasn't feeling it. I'm going to do the class quilt and then next year's quilt tomorrow. I'm hoping. Don't have anything on the schedule, so we'll see. Hello? How was the sprinkler? Was it warm or was it cold? How do you feel?
What?
Good. You gotta put some clothes on there, young lady. Are they wet?
No.
Oh, okay.
The rest is wet.
Your hair's a little wet? That's okay. It should be fine. We'll brush it in the morning. Unless you want to brush it now.
No.
You can take it out of braids if you want.
Why?
I don't know. To let it air out. Remember, it gets kind of smelly when your braids are dry and they're wet. So you can take them out. I can maybe put them in quick braids before you go to bed.
No.
Yeah, you see hair in the morning. No, someone who doesn't like getting their hair brushed. Okay.
No.
So again, we have those little bonus pieces. If you want to keep them, you can. I have my little pile going here. I'm really pumped about that. So you can keep it or you can just like Joe said, do nothing with it. You need to go put some clothes on, lady. Don't come over here. And both irons are on, so just warning you that they
Tablet.
huh?
Why is it tablet?
I have my laptop up
Wow.
because I'm using YouTube here, and on this one I'm using you can't come over here. Yeah. And I'm on TikTok. TikTok. Okay, go and put some clothes on. And if you go downstairs, bring Bunny so she can go to the washroom. She was sleeping though. Okay, we gotta find out which way to press these. Let's see what the book says. Okay, we're gonna press out towards H. So let's set those seams. I'm gonna roll it back. This should not, again, change the size of the rectangle, so it should still be the size that it was originally.
Okay, let me clean her out.
You need some clothes on. Just get a nightgown.
This is her pajamas that I have to wear.
There's more pajamas in the dryer, I think.
Oh no, but this is not the pajamas I want to wear for now.
Let's see.
It's hard, but I did this.
Well, when you go to bed, you can just take off the pajama pants if you want.
Oh, just shake.
Yeah. Don't wear those again. Please put those in the laundry. They are dirty.
I'm gonna take
Put them in the laundry. No.
I'm gonna take
You
off
wore them
both.
like 4 times. That's enough. Yes, love.
I'm gonna take them off both.
Okay. Can you go have your bedtime snack?
Can Bunny come down?
Yes, she needs to go to the washroom.
Bunny.
If he grabs her, it's fine. When she goes pee, she'll be ready for you. Okay, so there's our block. I would not trim them right now. If I'm going to check them after I do both sides because I don't want to cause any kind of issue. They've already seen her. Thank you. Wallace, go.
Okay.
I'm funny. So I'm gonna check them after I've done both sides. Okay? Because why do the same step twice? So now we're going to do the other one going the opposite way so that we have that nice flying geese block. Okay? And I'm just gonna do this. They're so funny. Okay. So I'm gonna start from the center again, but this time I'm gonna sew down to the right corner, the lower right corner. I'm gonna cut off my bonus block, throw it over there in my pile. All right. So now we're gonna keep going. All righty. I'm just gonna chain these, all of these. So we have a nice big flying geese. There's lots of ways to make flying geese. This is just the way that she has chosen to make them. They're called stitch and flip flying geese. This is more of a, it's not the original, like the traditional method. The traditional method for making flying geese was cutting triangles. I'm so glad that someone has come up with a way to not sew triangles. It's not, this makes it easier. I think it makes it really good. Because otherwise it was triangle, triangle, triangle. And if you save your cutoffs, then you're not wasting any fabric. Especially with these ones that are so large. If they were really tiny, it might not be really anything to save. And if you, when I was first making flying geese, my blocks were always like, they never came out quite right, they never came out to the size that they needed to be. They were always a little bit too small or shorter than what they needed. So you could always make them a little bigger. So if you go through the pattern and you know, and you look through the book and you see what you need to make that particular block, and you can adjust. You can say, oh, this is for a flying geese. I'm going to make it a 1/4 inch bigger or something like that. And then you can always trim it down. I know a lot of people do that. And that was recommended to me when I was struggling with my flying geese, was she told me, make it bigger. She said if it's cut. Now this one already made them bigger. They didn't give you that weird size of 3/8, 7 inch or 5/8, 7 inch or 7/8, 7 inch or something like that. They already kind of made it bigger. So hers are pretty good for me. She already kind of makes them. It's a nicer size to sew with, but if you're ever worried, just cut them a little bigger and then just trim down. Then it gives you a little wiggle around here until you get more comfortable making them. Okay, so there's my long chain of fluggies. So we're going to take it over to the iron here. We're going to trim them apart just like we did previously. And we're going to trim off that corner. And we're going to sew it again. So just a reminder, I might sew a little faster than you do. Maybe I don't. Maybe you're faster than me. Maybe you've already gone on to the next step. I'm trying not to go super fast, but I also want to get them done. I can't be here all night because I can't. I'm gonna be this. That might be a little. No, that's okay. All right, and this is just the speed. This is pretty much my regular speed that I'm sewing. I am going to stay on until it's finished, the whole both block. And if you need to leave, feel free to go. This will be on YouTube, and you can watch it there, and you can fast forward and pause and rewind and all of those fun things. This is so great because some of you I wouldn't be able to sew with on a regular basis because you live too far away. So this is a lot of fun. Definitely, I do like the Zoom classes that we host through Quilts for Survivors because I can see you. You can, if you turn your camera on, if you don't have to, and you can see me and we can chat back and forth, and that's always fun too. All right. Okay, quite a nice little pile of bonus blocks. I'm going to have lots of different pinwheels to make or whatever I decide to do with. Okay, so now again, pressing towards that corner, setting all my seams and pressing them out. Again, it shouldn't change the size of our rectangle. They should still be the size that we cut them. So if you're going to check your blocks, that's what you want to do. This looks amazing. These are my star legs. Isn't that going to look absolutely amazing? I'm so excited. I think it's going to look great. When I found out that was the color that I had picked for that particular fabric, I was very pleased. So I have a ruler that's the size that I need my pieces to be. So I'm just going to set them here. And I'm going to check and I'm going to bring it over to the mat if I need to, should they be needing to be trimmed. But I've been getting better at my piece. I've been getting much better. There's a slight bit here. Just going to come over here to the larger mat. And I'm going to press here. All right, trim. And that's my trim file. And then always making sure too that we press accurately. Really make sure that you press them out. You have no pleats and no folds. I have made pleats and folds, and then I have to adjust and repress it because there was a pleat, and then it would change the size of my block. Okay, only one needs a little bit of trimming, so I feel confident in that. Put that back there. So here, you can't see it, but I have a pegboard here and I have little baskets. And in my basket, I have a little tray to hold rulers. And all of my smaller rulers are just set inside there by order of size order. So I have like rectangles and then a square. And then I have rectangles and then a square. so on until, and all my little rulers are there because I had them on my table, on my desk, and there's a little gap between the wall and the desk. And one of my rulers fell behind there and cracked, chipped, corner chipped. So now I do that instead. Okay, so we have made our half square triangles. We have made our beautiful flying geese. I see that that's a little hard to see down there, but it's there. You can see it. And it's going great. So we are almost done. It's 8 o'clock now, but we are almost done. I'm going to give these a quick press. We're going to make 2 more. Square and a square. And then we're going to call it a night. We're going to sew all these pieces together. And then we're done. So again, drawing a line from corner to corner and stitching. It's exactly the same way we made the other one. We're just using different fabrics. Same fabric in the center though. Yes, same fabric in the center. And this will be faster because we're only making 2. So stitching on that drawn line. Instead of sewing a bonus block, I'm just going to cut one off. Sew that one and then cut the other one. And remember to do opposite corners. And then we'll trim and press. Your battery is running low. Low. Okay, I'm going to plug in my other camera because my battery's running low. I apologize for turning my back to you, but I don't want it to die. I didn't think I needed it plugged in. Excuse me. All right, so I'm going to plug this in. There we go. Oh, the other camera's still going. So it should be okay. I did charge it before. All right, good stuff. Okay. Stitching down corner to corner. All good. Trim. I think the blocks, it'll take less time as we go along. I hope. I don't want to keep the 2 hours every Wednesday or 2.5 hours every Wednesday. But if you don't mind, I don't mind. I'm going to sew a bonus block so that I can take that one with me. I'm going to trim these off just over here so I don't have to waste time moving anything. So, cutting off those stitch and flip corners, and we are making a square in a square block. This is the center, the very center of our water lily flower. This is block 1. So I see there's still some people on. If you're just joining, welcome. We're pressing outwards. You need the Flower Farm sampler book to sew along. And you have to have all your pieces pre-cut because I give no cutting instructions. I may say how much you square it up to, but I don't tell you the size. So far it's looking pretty good. So I've got opposite corners. Now I'm going to do the other corners. And this is a little easier than the ones we did previously. So what we've created is behind us. And now we're going to sew this corner to corner. Beautiful. We're going to sew this one. So I'm chain piecing again, always chain piecing. I absolutely love to chain piece. Adjusting that a little, pull it a little bit off. Cut in between. I'm going to cut off my bonus block here. Toss it to the side. Oh, it looks like I cut. Oh no, I was like, oh, it looks like I cut an extra one. I didn't. It goes for that one. All right. So you can draw the line on this H squared. I think they were H. Yes. Or use that diagonal seam tape. And if you have not tried diagonal seam tape, I highly recommend it and I suggest you try it. You can get it at local quilt shops. You can get online. Lots of quilt shops sell things online as well. It is very helpful. Okay. So, oops. Didn't cut that very well. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna trim off these stitch and flip corners, 1/4 inch away or so. Again, I will use my rotary cutter. I just find that it just makes me more accurate for sure. I like it. If you're ever worried that you might have sewn something wrong, before you trim it, you can always fold it back and make sure that you like it. But you can always pick it out. Once you cut it, you're kind of committed to it now. Which, if you watched one of my lives earlier this week, you would have seen where I went, oh, I sewed it the wrong way. That was not how it was supposed to be sewn. And I had to actually recut the fabric. Good thing it wasn't a huge piece, and I had to resew it, recut both pieces and resew. But that's okay. That happened. So now these should be the size that our original square was. So that's this square here. Oh, it is really close. I think I'm going to trim it just a bit. I'm going to come over here. I do realize that you can't see it as well, but I do want to trim it up. It's just a hair. But, 2, 3 hairs will add up. So now I have a nice square block. Let's see this one. If it's a little short, that is okay. We'll squeeze it in. Oops. All right, there we go. So let's get rid of that. So now we're done those. Woo-hoo. I think all of our components are finished, and that makes me so excited. I'm so relieved. Okay, now I just got to figure out how this layout goes. So let's grab, this comes out to 12 and a half, the center of our block. It's 12 and a half. So it's a big block in itself. You could just make this, and that could be a block. Just the center is a block in itself. This is not a 12-inch block. No, it's only 10. Okay. Let's get the big ones. I think these are 14. Okay, so we're going to lay these out. One like this. Okay. One, I'm going to do both of them at the same time. I have my little pattern here that I can follow. These are the color that's the center is going to point to the center. It's going to go point to the center. Is that right? Hey, stop it! That's enough. Yes, because this, yes, okay. Just making sure that I have it laid out right. So I have the center, so my triangles, half square triangles, the color that matches the center, if I chose to do them the same color, they're going to be pointed inwards, okay? That is correct. If you changed it, then this color should match these colors here on this part of this square here, okay? Because then it gives that the look that they're going for. Okay. So that's what we have so far. Okay, I understand that I can, I don't know, what I see may not be what you see. Because here it's hard to see the contrast of the colors. But this color here, the first color, is the same as the center, and then these are the other color, okay? And they actually match over there. The G that we sewed on earlier. Then we're going to take these, and these just go around to make our star. These are our star legs. And we cut everything, we've pressed everything is ready to go. So there's a complete star. We can kind of see it. I don't have great lighting in here. I think I have good lighting, but it may not be the best, but it'll do. It'll do. It'll do. That's what they say on Babe. That's an old show. But that's what they say on Babe. It'll do, Babe. That's enough. Is that what he says? It'll do. That'll do, pig? Yeah, I think that's what he says. Laura has a comment. I'm going to see. I can see the contrast. Oh, perfect. Okay. Oh, now it doesn't want to turn. Come on over here. There we go. Okay, come on. Nope. The camera's being silly. Oh, there we go. Okay, good. I'm glad you can see it. It's hard to tell with everything, but that's good. So now we have two centers. They're both exactly the same. Look at that. Oh yeah, you can kind of see it now. I can kind of see it. So these are our two blocks. Don't they look amazing? And they're the center for all the other pieces that we made. Nothing is sewn together, but we're going to start. Let's start with our center, and then we'll add it, and then it's like a 9 patch right now. So we're going to sew it just like a 9 patch. We're going to start at the top, and we're going to sew down. That gone a little bit. There we go. Wanted to stick there a little bit. So I'm just flipping over and sewing together. Now, we're going to have 2 points here. We want to try to keep them. So we're just going to go nice and slow, even do maybe a scant 1/4 inch here. I don't think I lost my point. I don't think so. Hard to tell, but I don't think so. So just do your best. And it takes practice. I have a lot of previous quilts that lost points, or the points looked a little crappy. But I'm getting better. And I can see growth. Even my parents, my mom's not an avid quilter, but she can, do some really nice binding. And my dad, who doesn't sew at all, they can see how nice, and even my kids, how nice and accurate my blocks are becoming. So in case you didn't see what I did, I'm sewing both blocks at the same time. I'm chain piecing both of them through. So there, I made sure that those were lined up. I don't pin anything, usually. I like to be able to move my fabric as I need to get it to do what I need it to do. And I'm not a good pinner, not an accurate pinner. So now I only need 3 pieces. So I cut the 3 pieces off. Oh, and my bonus block here. Stand aside. Now I'm going to lay it back down on my design board, which you can see. I'm going to open it up. And I'm going to lay it down. Now, I'm not going to press anything. What it recommends is, let me see what it recommends. Press the top out, the inside in. Does it do that? No, that is incorrect. The top should be in, the bottom should be out. The center should be out. So this one needs to be pressed out. You can just finger press it. This one's supposed to be pressed in and pressed in. So the top and bottom are in and the center is out. And if these threads, if you're chain piecing and these threads get in the way, just cut them. They're not really good for anything other than holding it together. But if they're causing you stress or they're in the way, just cut them. It's not going to hurt nothing. Just ensure that your block is still going the correct orientation that you want it to. Hey, brush your teeth if you're done eating your snack, please. I'm sorry, I thought I would be done by now, but we are not. We're getting there again. I'm very excited to get this done. Next week they're at their dad's, so we will have all the time to watch. Next week will be super fast, and if they were home, I would have time to put them in bed. Oh, so now I cut my other 3 off. This one is the first one. This is the second one. So again, we're going to open it up. I open it up so that I don't confuse myself or don't misline up something. So if I was going to cut the threads in between the blocks, this is when I would cut them. So I would cut them now because my block is in the right orientation. And then when I pick up stuff and sew it, nothing gets moved around. So that's probably, for me, that would be the best time to cut the threads because nothing gets turned upside down or the wrong way. Ask me how I know that. So I'm coming up to that place, making sure that I'm on the right side of where the two seams cross so that I don't lose my point. I have one more to sew here. We're doing great. We are so close to being done. Getting very excited here. I don't even have a design board big enough to put these blocks on. All right, so now we're going to open up this up. Again, press in, press out. Oh, it's looking so good. Press in. So I'm just going to finger press it so that I can manipulate those seams to get them where I need them to be. Sometimes pressing it. If you need to press it, press it. I am choosing not to. Personal preference. I will have to take it over to the bigger harmony once I press this. No, that's supposed to be, yes, in. Okay. In and out. I'm just making sure my seams are going where I want them to. I'm being very cautious here of how they're going together. Nesting nicely. Stopping and adjusting as I need to. This is where I want to make sure that I don't cut off the wrong spot. Making sure that everything is going the way that I want it to. Really focusing on lining everything up, getting nice and straight. If you want to square it up, you're going to want to square it to 12.5 inches. It's looking really good though. I feel like it's going together really well from what I can tell. Things are matching up. Yep, that's matched up. This is definitely more accurate than this one, but that's okay. They're looking really good. So let's do this one again. Again, you can pin. If you're a pinner, pin. You'll know where you want to pin. I am not a pinner, so I don't take the time to pin. But you do what works for you. And I have pinned. I do pin at the odd time, but for the most part, this is going wrong. This seam is not going. That seam needs to go out. Okay. Just making those seams dance. That one seam is trying to be a rebel and go its own way. You can't go your own way. You want to do what I need you to do. Can you please hurry up? Wallace, Jose. They're barking like dogs down. Oh, they're funny. Guys, let's go. Okay, again, I'm going to try to, if you're worried, concerned at all, that maybe your seams aren't going to quite nest together, you can always line them up and hold them. You can put a pin if you need to, or just kind of put your finger on it, kind of hold it. And that will help too. Oh my gosh, they're both done. Okay, I'm going to sew a bonus block. I'm going to go press them. Okay. Oh. Okay, and then we'll sew the other part like a 9-patch. Oops. Forgot to cut this part of that. Part from that. So let's still press these. I'm going to turn the camera around. I can't move it as much as I did last time due to the fact that it's plugged in because it was dying. So you're just stuck watching me from over there. All right. So we're going to set our seams. Just want to make sure this is hot enough. We'll do it a couple of seconds. So I'm going to fold these in. Let's just press all the seams and then we will we will go back and get the rest of this done. We are so close to being done. I am so proud of all of us for however far you've come. I can't see your progress, but I'm sure you are working very hard. I hope you're having a relaxing Wednesday evening. I hope this isn't stressing you out too much. Don't be stressful. And don't compare where you are to where I am. Again, I sew every day. And I just sew a lot. And I sew very fast. I know that. My mom always tells me you sew too fast. Because I can bind like a ton of quilts before she's done binding a quilt. So there are our centers. Aren't they beautiful? I am so pleased. Okay, let's go see. And if you get dizzy, I apologize. At least on there. Okay. Hi, handsome. Okay, let's put these design boards away because they're no good anymore. They're too small now. Come see what I made. It's not quite sewn together yet. It's so pretty. Well, what happened to you?
I accidentally throw something at her, but I said sorry.
You don't throw things.
I did throw something hard.
It doesn't matter. You don't throw things. Okay, go to bed. You come here. In a crisis, we need to deal with. Give us a moment. Aww. Go to bed, Wallace. It's okay. Oh, you're getting big. Right now, it's getting short. Do you want to see what I was sewing? It's almost done. It's almost done. What do you think? What are those poems? Do you know what kind of answer that is? Which one? Is it a raptor? Oh, it is. I knew it. I knew you would know what it was. Dinosaurs in my quilt. Did you not notice there was dinosaurs? I'm gonna go take the other braid. Okay, go brush your teeth. Did you brush your teeth yet? Okay, get to bed. Now we're throwing things. Come here. It's okay, Joe. Right there. Right there. Okay, so let's sew this together. Brush your teeth, and I'll come and see you. So I'm going to sew one together while she brushes her teeth, and then we'll call it a night, and I'll sew the other one together after. Yeah, I guess that's how I would sew that together. Okay. It's just a really long piece. Okay, so I'm going to sew just one together. And I'll sew the other one off camera so I can go help Miss Joe, who's very tired. He gets more tired than mad at brothers for hitting her with me. But of course, brothers will be brothers. Okay, so this one, there's no point to worry about, but this side there's a point. So I'm going to sew it this way. So I'm sewing it upside down or whatever. I'm sewing it differently. I will have to cut my thread in between. I'm going to just press it on. Adjusting as I need to. Wallace, that's enough. Again, nesting those seams. Things seemed a little loud, so maybe my seam wasn't as nested as I thought. I take the bottom now and sew those together. Again, I'm only sewing one here. I do have to go do mom duty here. I'm coming. Just get into bed. Or do you want to watch me for a little bit? Huh? Why don't you go sit in the chair over there? Because there's no irons over there. All my irons are on. I don't want you to get bogged. Okay, so I'm going to take this because I know that's the wrong way. Right, so let's take, cut off the bonus block here. You're going to look at some fabric? Don't get it dirty or full of stops there. Okay. Let's cut that. Oops, there's another thread. Okay.
Just take it one stitch at a time.
Good advice, Jojo. What are you going to do with that?
Make me quit.
You're not cutting my fabric.
No.
Okay. You're just too cute, aren't you? Okay, so we're gonna sew the other corner on.
Cookie.
You put them on the ironing board over there. Just don't touch the iron, it's still on.
Why is your towel?
Because I don't actually have an ironing board. I brought my ironing board to the sewing retreat. I never brought it back. I just didn't care. Well, yeah, I just didn't care. Okay, now we need this one. All right. Jojo's having fun playing with some fabric. Is it making you feel a little better? So note to self, watch how you put your center star in your flower because you want to make sure all your seams will nest. Note to self, because I did not watch that and now my seams, I need to adjust my seams, which is fine. It's not going to affect anybody, affect the world. It's not. I'm not going to worry too much about it. Sure to sew over my points.
You like it?
Huh?
Why do you put fabric, not just do like I'm doing?
Because I need it to be certain sizes. Your size, I can't use just all big sizes. It doesn't work. I think I got all. Oh, I have one that needs. Oh, this is the one that needs that piece. Okay.
Well, you don't use these?
I'm gonna use them. I just don't need them yet. I'm using what I'm already using, sweetheart.
I just need to do the bottom.
Okay, so let's do this. Again, 1/4 inch seam. Just sewing it like a really, really huge 9 patch.
Look!
Looks like a rainbow.
These.
Yeah, looks good. Okay.
I always play with them.
Okay, I'm gonna put a bonus block in because I need all of my pieces. Let's sew a bonus block.
A bonus.
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 Bonus. One I don't need for this quilt, but I need for a different one. Okay. So top. I just want to make sure that my raptors are going the right way as well. Yes.
Bunny's toy.
Yeah.
Like the cat one?
Okay.
We put that one in there.
Did she come up here?
No.
No bunny?
Let's put Bunny in the porch.
Why?
Oh no.
Where is she? Stuck in the porch now?
No.
Oh,
I got it out.
that guy. Why does he do that?
Right.
He's trying to be funny. I don't know. It's not
And
very
it said
funny.
the porch is on.
Well, because she goes in each people's shoes. And because when people come inside the house, they don't know she's there. And then she almost got taken out by the door. You can't see her. She's too small. So that's why. That's why we keep her out of the porch. There used to be a door there, actually. Where the gate is, you know?
Yeah.
There used to be a door.
What?
When we first
Why
moved
did
in
you
there,
not like
the door was like broken and it was ugly.
this one?
Well, then it made it cold in the porch because then no heat got in the porch. So it's better now. We could, I guess we could put more there, but I don't really need it. It's fine. Maybe a half door. Maybe we can put a half door. Okay, so another bonus block.
Let's do the dance.
I got that one for Christmas last year. Yeah.
I do this.
Ooh, that's got some funky designs on it. Okay, bonus block on.
It's very tall.
I don't know. Okay, so
No,
that's what I have so
no.
far. Joe, what do you think?
With it.
I think it looks pretty
I'll
good
make
too.
it
Okay,
now.
and then this one now. I'm gonna stick this down here. You gotta still take your braids out there, Slava.
We do this.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna sew this together now. This is the last one. Now I don't. Okay. So we're not gonna talk about the next. We're not gonna look at the next. We're not gonna worry that she's using all her. That's a fun one. It's got what kind of dinosaur on it?
Every cat.
Okay.
Like you're not the dinosaur like T-Rex eat.
Oh.
Like a herbivore.
Triceratops is a herbivore? And what's a T-Rex?
The T-Rex is a carnivore.
And what are the ones called that eat both? Do you remember their
For them.
omnivores or something like that. That's what we are. We eat plants and meat.
No, I don't eat meat all the time.
But you do eat meat sometimes.
T-Rex eat bird. I don't eat bird.
You eat nuggets. They come from chickens, which are birds.
I don't eat bird.
And a distant relative of the
I don't
T-Rex.
eat birds like fly. Oh, birds like fly.
Do we eat birds that fly?
Yeah, I
We don't.
never eat birds fly.
No, we don't eat. Well, I've eaten a partridge, I guess, but you don't want to eat a partridge.
They're great.
Have you even tried them?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't want to try them. Oh, okay. All right. I don't know how we got on this conversation, but I know. It is my fabric there, Jose.
Mine now.
Well, okay, so we're done. I did not sew the second one. I'm going to come back and sew the second one, but let's go see what this looks like. Okay, Jojo, you're going to have to move. Because Mom's going to turn the screen around. Okay,
Are you cutting it?
I'm going to press it. Press it. No, I'm not going to cut it. I'm moving these. You got to go over there. Go finish. Did you brush your teeth?
Yeah.
Okay, go finish taking out your braids.
Why?
While you wait, you can play with your thing.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not going to sew the other one though. I'm going to help you get to bed here. It's getting late. Or you want me to sew the other one? Okay, well, we'll sew the other one then. So I sewed one at a time.
How many do you have to do?
2. I just have to finish that one over there. I'll sew that one. So these will be 24.5 inches square when they're done. They are massive. Okay, I'm going to check my bite. Actually, I think I'm just going to not sew it. I'm going to stick with not sewing it. Get you to bed. Okay. Since we got up at 10 after 8 this morning. All right. Look at this. Isn't this beautiful? I am so proud of myself, and I'm proud of you guys for getting however much done you got done, whether you got the whole block or part of the block. What? I know, it's almost time for bed for her. Yeah, I put her to bed usually 9:15.
Right now?
No, it's only 8:30. Time for you to go to bed. So put your fabric away, bedtime. Let's go. Okay, so there is my block. So we started out with some units over here. This one's not sewn together.
For tomorrow?
Sure, I will put those together. I'll put that together later. But this is the block. It's called the Water Lily block. And I think it turned out absolutely amazing. I'm really pleased. And I'm really glad that I changed this color from the color I had originally. I think it looks really great. And I'm very, very pleased with my blocks. All right, so that is our first block. Next Wednesday at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I will come back with our second block, sew that together. There's a couple of comments over on TikTok, so I'm going to go read those. Beautiful. Yours looks so good. Thank you. Just remember that I also made the Barn Star sampler, so I have a little bit of what's the word I was going to say? I've done this before, so I know kind of what I like to see together. And then I am using a collection, and I am using all the fabric by one designer, other than the white is just a white. Thank you for this fun night of sewing. I'm almost done mine. Perfect. That's wonderful. That means a lot knowing that we were kind of able to keep up at the same speed. It's for when you sew little pieces. Like here, you could put some of these on there. You can open these up and put some of those on there. All right. So thank you very much for joining. Again, I'm in Eastern Ontario, Canada. I had a wonderful time sewing with all of you. If you need any further instructions, you can go over to our, you'll have it here on YouTube. You have a quilt started somewhere. I don't remember where it went now. Over there. Somewhere. I don't know. There's a quilt that you already started.
I started again.
You can finish it. All right. Thank you again for joining me. I hope you had a wonderful time and that you come back next Wednesday. If you haven't picked up your copy of that's very pretty. There's more over there. The Flower Farm Sampler book, please grab that because you do need that. We don't give any cutting instructions. And we're very excited to have you have been successful with us this evening. I am so thankful. Thank you so much. So you have a week to cut up for block 2. And so enjoy the rest of your evening and your day tomorrow. I hope it goes well. And we'll be seeing you again next week right here. And thanks again, Miigwech.
Home studio.